Lot of activity in the National Football League. Josh Allen, who of course won the MVP, has reached an agreement on a record-setting 6-year, $330 million contract through 2030, which includes $250 million guaranteed. Sources told ESPN's Adam Schefter on Sunday it is the largest guaranteed total ever given to an NFL player. Of course, there is still that last hurdle to climb to get to the Super Bowl, but Allen put the MVP on the mantle this year. Most guaranteed money in a single contract, distinction previously held by Deshaun Watson by Cleveland. We know that was a complete catastrophe. Dak Prescott, got $1 million less than that. Joe Burrow is fourth with $219 guaranteed. Allen's yearly salary comes out to $55 million, tied for the second most behind only Dak Prescott's $60 million. A lot of news at the receiving front after being traded by the Seattle Seahawks to the Pittsburgh Steelers for a second-round pick. Adam Schefter reporting that. It is a big-time extension, 5-year, $150 million contract with Pittsburgh. He had requested the trade on the 5th of March. Davante Adams, meanwhile, heading to the NFC West after signing with the Rams on a 2-year deal. He's one of 4 players with 1,000 receiving yards each of the last 5 seasons. Then there's this one. I want to win and I want to trade. Wait, how much money? Cleveland and Myles Garrett agree on a deal which averages $40 million per, including $123.5 million in guaranteed money, making him, I would say, deservedly so, the highest paid non-quarterback in the NFL. Since entering the league, his 102.5 sacks trail only T.J. Watt in Pittsburgh, who has 108. So Myles is going to stay in Cleveland. And Adam Schefter joins us now. And we're battling the shot. We know what you look like, and we're going to listen to your sweet, dulcet tones as it relates to the information here. For Pittsburgh, you got Metcalf to catch the ball, but who's going to throw him the football, Adam?
Well, Scott, that's the question right now. That I think the Pittsburgh Steelers are waiting to answer it themselves. They've been talking with Justin Fields, trying to get a deal worked out. We'll see if they can get a deal done with Justin Fields. We all know that DK Metcalf has played with Russell Wilson, has shined with Russell Wilson. The two guys are close friends, so there's always that option. And also in the mix, Aaron Rodgers, also on the has some interest in playing for the Steelers. And so right now, the Steelers are still sifting through their we'll see how it works out.
That free agency negotiating period doesn't start until Monday at noon Eastern. But where would you like to see your Steelers go with the quarterback position? Who do you want thrown to DK?
Justin Fields. I would love to see the Pittsburgh Steelers sign Justin Fields back. Here's why. In 6 starts, Madeline, they were 4-2. He played really, really good football. You can tell he started to find his stride within the offense. But the thing that I love about Justin Fields in terms of becoming a playmaker, he has that attribute within his game. He can become a playmaker, especially when you look at his ability to extend runs or become a +1 in the running game, especially in the red zone area. When he was not in the lineup, when Russell got into the lineup, especially in December football, when the pocket was not comfortable for him, he either threw the football into the stands or he got sacked. He didn't give you anything outside of that. With Justin Fields, Madeline, he can extend plays. He can buy time. So if you're able to build with him, not to mention he's only 25 years old. He's 25. So the ceiling is there. The potential is there. He would be my lead guy in trying to retain to be the starting quarterback for the Pittsburgh Steelers. And I can say this. I highly doubt DK would have agreed to an extension if he didn't get any kind of wind on who the quarterback will be for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Because one thing we know about DK, of course, he want to go get his bag. The money is important, but also who is throwing him the football is overly important as well. So I highly doubt DK would have went to Allegheny County not knowing who the quarterback potentially would be. So if DK was okay in getting this extension, clearly he believes the quarterback will be a guy that can get him the football and then make the necessary plays for them to be successful in 2025.
I mean, hey, he did say he wanted to go somewhere warm that's a contender and $30 million a year. He got the bag, maybe a contender, warm, not so much, but hey, can't have it all. Another wide receiver in the news Sunday, though, 5 days after being released by the Jets. I'm talking about Davante Adams. He signed a 2-year deal with the Rams. Now, he's put up 1,000 yards in each of the past 5 seasons. So, B-Mac, what is your impression of Adams taking his talents to L.A. and teaming up with Matthew Stafford and the Rams?
Madeline, this is another move I'm in love with. My goodness, this was a great job by Les Snead. Les Snead has done a masterful job in terms of acquiring talent via free agency or through the draft. Another big-time job when you talk about moving on from Cooper Kupp, being able to add another dynamic playmaker to their offense along with the play caller in Sean McVay. You talked about the quarterback in Matthew Stafford. This is a great move for both sides, Davante Adams and the Rams. Because, of course, you have Puka Nacua, but adding Davante Adams, he gives you another experienced, savvy route runner. You talked about what he's done over the last 5 years. 1,000 yards. That's consistency. Look at the job he did a year ago in terms of starting with the Raiders, being moved to the New York Jets. Clearly not the best ideal circumstances in terms of what was surrounding him, but he still gave you over 1,000 yards. Production is something that he's been tied to. With Cooper Kupp, outside of having that record-breaking year in 2021, he hasn't been healthy, and he hasn't given the numbers because he hasn't been on the football field. With Davante Adams, yes, he is 32, but he hasn't shown any sign of slowing down. And you're not telling Davante to come in and be the hero for the offense. You're telling Davante to come in and make the necessary plays because they have other playmakers on the offense, not to mention their quarterback is a legit gunslinger when it comes to throwing accurate passes. And, oh, by the way, a no-look here or there. So when you factor this all into the equation, I love this move. And, of course, Davante loved it as well because who doesn't like tall palm trees and nice weather when you're living out in Los Angeles?
Who doesn't? Am I right? I mean, hey, it was an eventful day Sunday. You got new contracts being signed, players being traded, players on the move. When you look at everything so far that has happened, B-Mac, who's your biggest winner from Sunday?
Come on, Madeline. It's the Pittsburgh Steelers. It's the Pittsburgh Steelers. And the reason why the Pittsburgh Steelers, they're my biggest winner because no one saw this at all, right? When you look at everything that transpired, we knew someone was going to sign Davante Adams, right? We knew Josh Allen would get a mega game-breaking, record-breaking deal. We knew that. We anticipated those things happening in the near future, but no one anticipated DK being traded to Pittsburgh. We felt like he could be traded. We felt like there would be a team that would make the necessary moves to make it happen, but no one thought it would be the Pittsburgh Steelers. And then when you factor in how much of a need this is for the Pittsburgh Steelers, it makes them even more of the winner with everything that has transpired this weekend. So for me, it's the Pittsburgh Steelers because this was a big-time need. It was highly surprising, and the relationship with DK and what they do offensively along with playing alongside, as we see it now, George Pickens, this should be an outstanding matchup.
I mean, hey, we got a lot of news that is sparking joy for B-Mac right now. It's bringing you a lot of joy on this Sunday. But what about the biggest loser on Sunday's news?
Well, Madeline, the biggest loser, and they were not involved in anything that happened today, but they're my biggest loser, and it's the Cincinnati Bengals. And here's why. When you look at everything that happened today with DK, with Davante, even with Myles Garrett, getting a new contract, this will all affect the Bengals. It will have some type of issue created with the Cincinnati Bengals. And here's why. You have to pay T. Higgins. Paying T. Higgins was already a difficult feat. But now paying T. Higgins with DK receiving the deal that he's getting around $30 million per year makes it even more difficult to go pay T. Higgins, a guy who is in search of a nice deal in terms of overall contract and, most importantly, guaranteed money and per year salary. And secondly, outside of that, Myles Garrett, when they waited around and allowed other guys to sign deals that were non-quarterbacks, it made Jamar Chase price tag higher. I want to be the highest paid non-quarterback in the National Football League. Well, Max Crosby went out and trumped Justin Jefferson's contract per year salary, per year annual income. Well, Myles Garrett went out and trumped that. Myles Garrett is now getting $40 million per year. He is the highest paid non-quarterback in the National Football League. History-breaking deal. Well, if you're Jamar Chase, guess what? Now you got to go above 40 to get me back in the building. And he compromised a year ago. So I highly doubt he will be willing to compromise this season. So because of the Bengals, in terms of paying their significant players, they displayed the urgency of an 80-year-old in traffic, allowed everyone just to run around them while they sit there and they drove that old Buick 40 miles per hour and looked at everyone, passed them by. So because of that lack of urgency, they're my biggest loser.
I mean, hey, it's tough when you see your AFC North division rivals getting stronger and you're sitting there at 10-2. We'll see how it all plays out because, of course, the floodgates start to open Monday at noon Eastern.